Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a Norwegian horror anthology, BLOODRIDE, Season 1 Episode 4, LabRats. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. On a dark and rainy night, an old bus parks on the street. Under the dim road lamplight, a man is walking to the bus. Once he comes on board, he slowly removes his jacket and rolls up his sleeves. And then he looks at the seats, which are all empty. All set, the driver starts the vehicle. He tilts the mirror to allow him the best angle to observe the cabin. By now, the once empty seats are all occupied. So the bus drives into the heavy rain. The passengers wear strange facial expressions. A few of them turn back to see the rear seats, including the female rider in Episode 3. The standing passenger also looks at the back. At this time, a white rat appears. In a flash, the rat shows up on a lady's shoulder. It sniffs, as if to search for something. And then, the camera focuses on the 5 people at the rear of the bus. Edmund, CEO of the pharmaceutical company, is holding a celebratory party on his own rooftop. With 10 years of research and lab tests, his team has successfully developed an antidepressant drug that is said to have no side effects. Edmund's company has outdone their competitor in the field with the launch, earning their seat among the world-famous pharmaceutical firms. At the party, Edmund praises the team's effort and even likens them to be his family members. In a warm ambience, Edmund first extends his gratitude to his assistant and a veteran staff. And then, he briefly comments on the wisdom and hard work of the old researcher, short-named Senior, before he spends more time to praise the young one, short-named Junior. Edmund calls Junior the young Einstein, and emphasizes that Senior would be still working in the lab without Junior's contribution. Junior is rather humble, and just returns the comment with a positive smile. But Senior is clearly unhappy upon hearing such words. But no one would care about Senior's feelings. At last, Edmund thanks his wife for always putting up with his crazy work schedules. He invites the employees to proceed with a barbecue dinner. Everyone celebrates success, looking forward to venison. A white rat specimen is placed on the table. At the back of the specimen, Edmund and his team are enjoying delicious venison. Edmund at the dinner party is particularly casual, and even arrogantly teases his rivalry. It is because the rival company has not responded to Edmund's upcoming launch of the new drug. Edmund concludes that his opponent has thrown in the towel, and victory surely belongs to him. In excitement, he takes up assistant's hand, and teaches her the rules and regulations of the corporate world. Senior hints the rest that Edmund is going to mention his 3 golden rules. As expected, Edmund explains to assistant with a serious tone that, rule number 1 is to be the smartest person. Wife is embarrassed by their intimacy. Needless to say, Edmund's eyes are full of assistant now, and he has no way to notice wife's jealousy. He continues to explain that the second rule is to trust only yourself and no one else. But the last rule is nothing constructive, but a joke to make everyone laugh. Edmund takes the chance to affirm Junior as the wisest man in the company. His words humiliate Senior, the very researcher who has worked behind the scenes through these years. It is unfair that his hard labor over the years goes unnoticed. In angst, Senior decides to take more drinks. At this time, the veteran staff wants to have a look at the prototype of the new drug. Edmund gladly accommodates her request. However, when he opens the safe, he is shocked to find it missing. Edmund does not return to the dining hall immediately. He shrewdly visits the monitor room, and investigates the surveillance video. Edmund learns from the person in charge, short-named security, that today there is no other visitor, except those who attend the dinner. This means the culprit is hidden among the 5 guests. In order to catch the thief, Edmund returns to the dining hall, and briefly explains what happened. And then, he has everyone's bodies searched. Though unwilling, he could only obey what he says. Meanwhile, assistant stands up to dissuade Edmund, but to no avail. Edmund walks straight to her to conduct the search. In a fury, wife goes to frisk assistant one more time, and she squeezes her hormone mountains. Startled, assistant returns to her seat. Edmund is clearly unsatisfied with the search result, and he analyzes that the culprit must have regarded himself or herself to be even smarter than Edmund. Security orders everyone to strip off. No one takes his words seriously. Junior even laughs at him. But security soon pulls out a gun, making it compulsory for the guests. Junior is the first to remove his clothes. Senior rebukes Edmund that this is too much. Edmund ignores his comment. The veteran staff objects at first, and then, she silently takes off her attire. Wife is not spared of the shame, either. Edmund himself unties her dress. The 5 of them are only left with the undergarments. Edmund and security begin to thoroughly search their bags and rooms. Still, nothing is found. Edmund's blood gets boiling, and for the first time, he squeezes his brain juice to solve the problem, rather than the hormone one as he always did in the past. Suddenly he comes up with a plan, inspired by the rat. He decides to treat the 5 persons as his lab rats, and locks them up in a transparent experiment lab. He makes the password of the lock to be exactly the same as that of the safe. As such, the culprit will expose himself by pressing the same combination. Edmund then enters the monitor room to observe their reactions. In the lab, the naked 5 are together with some real rats trapped in the glass container. All of a sudden, Senior's face twitches violently, giving the rest a big shock. The veteran staff helps to explain that it is Senior's normal behavior as he gets nervous. In order to evade the lab, they must find out the thief. Wife immediately points her finger at assistant, for she really detests her. Wife claims that she has seen assistant going into Edmund's office. And then, she reveals to the rest that assistant is seducing her husband. Assistant firmly denies the claim, and says that she does not even know how the prototype looks like. It would be absurd for her to steal something, which she did not even see before. She then shoots the arrow back at wife, accusing her of stealing the prototype first, and making her the scapegoat next. Furious, wife attacks assistant. While the rest watches their battle in silence, the veteran staff makes an effort to stop them. Now it is tenser in the lab, and Senior's face gets twitched again. As soon as he recovers, he defends himself. As the only shareholder in the lab, he has no motivation to take such a move. Having said that, Senior pushes the blame to Junior. It is because Edmund has ever promised to make the drug inventor the new partner. But so far, he has not fulfilled the promise. So Senior speculates that Junior must have stolen the prototype in revenge. Junior has no fear or shame in the face of such an accusation. He calmly points out that Senior is jealous of him as he invents the drug. Senior states that he does not mind it at all. At this moment in time, wife adds that last month, Senior grumbled in his own office that he made the drug, but Junior alone took the fame. Exposed, Senior admits that he envies Junior. But he always thinks that Junior's success is inseparable from the solid foundation he has laid over the years. This time around, Junior does not shrink back, but stands up to confront Senior. He criticizes Senior's outdated algorithm, and makes it clear that all the calculations are done by himself. Enraged, Senior knocks out Junior. At the same time, the container on the table is pushed to the floor. Rats escape the container and wander into the lab. Edmund has been watching them without any clues. Security suggests that the thief might have flushed down the prototype in the toilet. Edmund is furious at his wild guess, and scolds him for not doing background checks and hiring. He commands security to check their backgrounds. Back to the lab, Senior falls into despair. He knows that if the thief does not own up, they will be trapped in the lab forever. But wife is confident that her husband would not harm innocent lives. Knowing that Edmund would just do everything for money, Senior insists on his opinion. He then reveals the company's dark history back in 1999, which the veteran staff and himself have witnessed. Years back, Edmund's company lost a lot of money when its investment in Africa went sour. Without much a choice, they had to take some risks. Edmund offered his employees the chance to buy shares in the company, so many invested their entire life savings. After that, Edmund went to the bank to file for bankruptcy, killing their lives and money at one go. 6 months later, Edmund started another business, and felt no guilt about his heinous deeds. Back then, 2 employees had committed suicide, but Edmund made no compensation to their families nor attended their funerals. This incident has fully exposed Edmund's true personality. Whenever Senior looks into Edmund's eyes, he could only see bottomless greed and desire. Having heard of such a fearful account, wife still sides her husband and defends him. She is grateful for the fact that Edmund is gentle and caring to her. Senior sneers at her naive belief, and tells her that Edmund does not even remember her birthday. Each year, the veteran staff has to remind him of wife's birthday. What is worse, even the annual birthday gifts are purchased by the veteran staff. Edmund does nothing more than just present them to her. No matter what wife brings up to clear her husband's name, Senior corrects her. In the control room, Edmund cannot sit still. He cannot afford to let things go out of control. By this time, security has got some clues. Edmund does not hesitate, but proceeds to release poisonous gas in the lab. He announces to them that if the culprit does not own up in 5 minutes' time, all of them will have to die. His harsh ruling throws the prisoners into chaos. Soon they begin to cough after inhaling the gas. In a pinch, Senior worries that Junior, who fainted, is the culprit. If he remains unconscious, the rest will die. so Senior awakens Junior to prevent him from being poisoned to death. Assistant suggests that everyone should anonymously write down the password they think of, and they should try it one by one. This way, the identity of the thief will not be exposed. But Edmund does not approve of her plan. He turns off the gas valve. By this time, the rats have vomited blood and dropped dead, while the 5 suspects are struggling. Edmund emphasizes that he must find out the thief. Wife begs him to release her, but Edmund does not care a single bit about her. Finally, Assistant keys in the combination, evading the room together with the other 4 persons. Edmund immediately goes over to Wife, trying to console her. But Wife avoids him, for she is totally disappointed with Edmund, and her love is worn out. Assistant confesses her sins. She is a spy sent by the rival company, which loses the competition to Edmund. In fact, their new drug was invented 6 months after Edmund's. As long as she destroys the prototype, she can buy more time for the other company. However, Edmund is not convinced by such a say. 6 months are sufficient to create another prototype, and the competitor will still fail. At last, Edmund releases Assistant. When he sends her off, he reveals her true reason behind the betrayal. It turns out that Assistant's father was an employee of Edmund. He invested his life savings into the company's stock share. When the investment failed, he committed suicide. So Assistant purposely joins the company to avenge her father. Even though Edmund indirectly kills Assistant's father, he shows no regret or fear. He is so confident that this dark secret would not do him harm in any form. Assistant upholds composure in the confrontation, and teases Edmund that Wife would make him pay for what he does. But Edmund regards pacifying Wife as a piece of cake. He shrugs it off, saying that it just takes a few vacations to make her happy. Assistant points out that Wife would definitely pursue the matter of their affair. And then Assistant hugs Edmund, while one of her hands dips into Edmund's pocket. Edmund does not notice her hand's movement. Back to the company, Edmund discovers that someone else has touched his pocket. He realizes that the prototype might not be destroyed, but hidden in his pocket. He chases after Assistant, and orders her to return the prototype. Assistant obediently hands it back to him. Edmund curses her. It's revealed that when everyone enjoyed the rooftop party, Assistant entered Edmund's office, and opened the safe to steal the prototype. When Edmund frisked her, she secretly slotted the prototype into his pocket. During the goodbye non-hormone hug, she withdraws it from the pocket. Back to the lab, Edmund boasts to Wife that he has obtained the prototype. Wife is completely not interested in his conceited speech. She pulls out a gun with a poker face, forcing Edmund to enter the lab. And then, she orders the veteran staff to turn on the gas valve. Edmund has to unlock the door with Wife's birthday. Edmund tries to change Wife's mind by arousing her love for him. He claims that he loves Wife. Wife, however, is not brainwashed. She is firm that Edmund must key in the combination of her birthday to come out. Edmund does not remember Wife's birthday at all. In a panic, he makes several attempts to no avail. Suddenly he foams at the mouth and falls to the ground. At last, he becomes one of LabRats, which dies of the gas. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Stay safe and enjoy your day.